When the paintings arrive here at the conservation studio, we first carry out a thorough examination of its condition. We carry out documentation and photography of each object when they arrive, just to document the process from before, during and after conservation treatment. Before we treat the painting, we examine the painting in UV light, and this helps us to identify things like old discolored varnish layers. They sort of reflect in a greenish light, thick old varnish, and on top of the varnish layer you can see sort of dark areas which indicate old overpaint that sits on top of the varnish. And it is likely that in paintings of this age that have been treated in the past, there might be more sort of extensive overpaint underneath the varnish layers that you can't see in the UV light. And this will become clear once you carry out testing with solvents. You can find out more of what lies underneath the varnish layers. It's quite rare to find a painting of this age that hasn't been restored in the past. And in the past, restorers were quite often also artists and not very properly trained people. So they may have cleaned the painting quite badly, and then they are applying the overpaint really quite liberally over sort of the original paint as well, instead of the damage. Whereas these days we have a slightly more minimal approach, and we only retouch just the area of damage instead of just all of the background. For example, somebody might have in the past just decided to repaint an entire sky or something like that. So we have a very different approach these days. What we're going to do on this painting is to remove the really thick and discolored varnish layers, which are disguising the tonality between the brown background and the black outfit. So now it sort of looks all in one, but hopefully after we've removed those layers, then you can have a bit more detail in the painting again. The aim of the conservation process is to return the painting to the state that the artist originally intended it to be. So we're now nearing the end of the conservation work. We have now removed lots of the overpaint and discolored varnish layers, and as we suspected, there was quite a lot of old restorations covering old damages and abrasion to the old paint layers. We found that the painting was really heavily overpainted, both in the background and in the sitter's outfit. During the varnish and overpaint removal, we also used microscope to examine the painting, just to look at some of the overpaint layers in more detail, and that was particularly helpful when we were establishing the overpaint layers on the green details of the outfit, which actually then were revealed to be blue originally. The removal of the overpaint did reveal quite a lot of these large old damages, which have been filled by past conservators using this red kind of filler, and that does reveal that the painting has been really heavily restored in the past, and it is quite an interesting part of the painting's history. The detail in the black areas has been lost a bit during the past conservation, as it has been over-cleaned, whereas the light areas like the face, the hands and the details of the outfit are much more crisp and visible. So we're now at the stage of retouching the painting, which involves retouching old paint and ground layer losses and some abrasion that has been caused by the past cleaning of the painting. And following that, we will apply a final varnish layer that will protect the painting.